Hey, it's Joe here from Innovative Electronics U.S. Today I'm going to be showing you how to swap out the tire on a Trotter MAGWheel. We're going to be swapping out this slick here for this treaded. Now the tires that come with these, they are branded and they last forever. I've got a tire on my very first board that I own that has probably 1,500 miles on it, and it doesn't look much different from this one. Because this is one of the biggest jobs on the Trotter, I'm going to actually also give you a basic full rundown of what's going on inside there. I'm going to show you how I do my upgraded waterproofing and just basically give you a rundown of what we can do with these things. One of the things that we really stress, and I know is a big deal, is what we like to call the right to repair. Now, when you buy something, you should have the opportunity to do what you want with it. It's yours. Here at Innovative Electronics U.S., we absolutely believe in that, and we offer not only a 1-year warranty on these boards, but if for some reason something happens after that, parts for these are available. You can get any kind of replacement part you need, and you can pretty much work on these in your garage, in your shop. They're not super complicated. All the engineering's already been done, so it's pretty much plug and play with a lot of the different components. So as you can see, the MAGWheel is a single solid piece frame. The welds are super nice, solid. All aluminum pipe construction. It's got a bend strength of 5,000 pounds. The milling and the machining is really nice, really precise on these. So you can see the motherboard solidly mounted to the bottom plate here. This is the speaker for beep warning and top speed warning. Battery. Anyway, once it's mounted in here, there's so much room here. It's solidly mounted. The welds are good. It's one consistent solid piece. When you're working on any kind of vehicle, electric or otherwise, the last thing you want to do is strip a screw, putting it in or out. So for this, the proper size is a P1 Phillips. Make sure that if you are using a drill, you've got it on its lowest torque setting. You don't want to strip these. It's a pain to get them undone. It can be, but once again, if you just don't strip them and be very careful with it, it's not really hard. Not only am I going to upgrade the waterproofing on this board, also all the screws I put back in are going to get removable blue thread locker just to keep them from working their way out in the future. We're going to add silicone under these, and we're also going to do the newest mod that I've added. All new ones that come through are going to have this already done. But what we're going to do is we're going to clip this off. We're going to clip about 2 millimeters off. What this is going to do is it's going to take away any issues that it might have with ghosting, and also just make it a little bit less sensitive, make it a little easier to mount and dismount as well. We'll be adding silicone right here and also underneath here, and that'll give us a good seal all the way through here. So if you're riding in wet conditions or water gets underneath your foot pad, it won't get into the actual unit itself. For the waterproofing on this, I'm just going to use silicone, 30-minute water ready, shrink and crack proof, lifetime guarantee. Just in case you were wondering, these are your optical sensors. As long as one or the other is activated on each pad, then the board will engage and level itself. The way this sensor setup is on this board also opens up a lot of opportunities for different variations on what we could do for sensors. It's pretty much just got two different inputs, and I really believe a lot of other aftermarket foot pads could probably be swapped in with a little bit of modification. Customer also requested orange foot pads, so we're going to swap those out. Another ingress point for water that I've discovered is these LEDs right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill those up with silicone as well. And it does not really affect the brightness at all. All it does is just make it that much more water resistant for us. So this here is your main board. This is your main sensor board here. Power switch runs on the front down here, which we're going to be upgrading to a waterproof power button. And even though we do have some silicone in a lot of these holes, that's only going to help hold those screws. We're not trying to make them fully permanent. We just want them to not wiggle loose during normal riding. Now, with a lot of extreme off-road riding, jumps, a lot of the stuff I like to do, it's a good idea to periodically check your top and bottom screws, including your axle set screws. So these right here all come from my motor. So these right here are what I'm going to need to disconnect, and then I'll slide this through and give myself enough slack to pull that out. Before we do anything, we're definitely going to make sure that we disconnect the battery. Just a little capacitor discharge. No big deal there. But that is why we unplug the battery before doing any work. I like to keep a little kit that's got the screws that go to this, the different options for it, and also most of my different bits, just to keep them handy. These right here are the slides. There are 4 bushings under each side here, and this basically gives it a bushing dampening suspension right from the factory. Your axle is set into these blocks with this screw here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a diagram of the wiring here before I pull those out. I definitely have the tool to remove these, just not sure where it is off the top of my head. As you can see here, I've removed those from the clip just because it doesn't fit through here. But I did draw a little diagram to make sure I knew where they all went. And this right here is the motor cable that runs all the way through the rail and into here. So in order to actually get this motor wire here all the way out, which it loops all the way through here to this, I'm gonna have to take off this nose piece, which is okay because I got to do that to replace this power button with a waterproof power button anyway. So in order to take this plastic trim piece off here, there are 4 screws there. There's these 2 top screws, and then there's 3 along the bottom underneath here. So you can just take those these 4 in the front here off and lift this up a little bit, and that will allow you to slide that piece out. These ones right here are probably the trickiest on the whole board. They strip really easy, so you're going to want to use a hand screwdriver. Make sure it's a number 1 Phillips. We're going to go ahead and disconnect this entire thing just to get it out of our way. And there's that. So in getting this motor out of here, we're going to have to take this motor cable, which runs right here. That'll give us enough slack so that this will pull out easily. I've already taken out these bolts here. Gotta be really careful getting this out. Make sure that there's enough slack in this so that it doesn't damage the wire coming out. And there we have it. Our entire Trotter hub motor. You can see it also has a little steel coil here to help protect it where it does go into there. One of the things I'm going to do as I upgrade the waterproofing on this guy or girl, these are the stock bushings that come with it. There are 8 of those. Now in one of my boards, I have replaced those with 8 of these. These are 55-pound compression weight springs, automotive grade from Zorro. I got 8 of them in there, basically just replacing these bushings. And it gives me 455 pounds or something of bounce weight, gives a full range of motion here. The only thing that I like to do is I want to put some kind of a rubber seal or coat around there to help protect that wire if it's bouncing up and down. I'm also going to fill in here and here with some silicone, and that will seal up these rails. You get the LEDs, you get the plates, and these rails right here, and there's nowhere water can get in there. These things have potential to be great boards. So in order to get this tire off, one of the things I'm going to have to do is take this off. Now, this is a set screw for your axle. You look, it's got a lock washer in there. One of the issues with some of these from the factory is that this washer is not large enough to actually lock in place for this. So what'll happen is this will start wiggling loose and you'll get a little bit of slop in the board. So one thing that you want to do when you have a trotter is to periodically check all of these and tighten them. It's just a regular maintenance thing that you want to do anyways. That way you don't lose bolts, that way you don't lose performance, and it'll keep your board running for a really long time. These are milled really nicely. It's a nice tight fit around this axle. And this is just some warm soapy water. So step one before taking off the tire, gotta remove the valve stem. One of these guys makes the job so much easier. So same thing when putting it back on. Don't forget the lube. Yay. Trotter down. Trotter up. Continuing on with our waterproofing here. Gonna do the tube rails here and around the inside here where the motor wire actually goes in. As you can imagine, once I've sealed up these, those, and sealed around these plates, with it being a one-piece frame, you can see adding the sealing just makes it that much more protected against any kind of extreme conditions you're going to want to ride in. You probably still don't want to toss it in the lake, but this is going to keep a lot of worries away. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually making little indents on the axle here, so that when this is in there, it goes just a little bit below, and that'll give it a nice lock in and keep this axle really solid in there and keep any slop from happening ever, no matter how hard I ride it, hopefully. Lock washers tight. If you put it on its lowest torque setting, that'll help prevent it from cross-threading. And then just like with lug nuts on a car, you want to kind of get them all in there, but don't tighten them all down right in a row. I'll bring it up a little bit. Diagram. So I'm going to be taking out the stock power button here, which isn't waterproof, and I'm going to be replacing it with this waterproof one. Yeah, I know, I need a new pair of pliers, don't worry. Just want to make sure you're not pinching any wires there. I do a lot of trail riding on my board, and one thing I've noticed is that this really helps with getting dirt and such up in these LED covers. Makes a huge difference there as well. This is the last side I got to do on this, and then this thing is pretty much waterproof. IP54 water resistant, withstands jets, puddles, all that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it informative. If you want to check out some of the other videos on our channel, we've got some amazing rides, some great breakdowns, and just all kinds of information. We're also on Facebook, and we have a website, www.innovativeenelectronics.us. Thanks so much for watching.